All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome here to meditation time at CSL Cape Coral. My name is Karen Gidley. I'm a licensed practitioner here at CSL Cape Coral, and it's my pleasure today to facilitate the meditation. So if you would like to just take a moment to settle into your seat and just find that center, that sacred spot in the heart. Take a nice deep breath in and hold it for a moment and then release. And then you can count 4, breathe in, hold it, count 4, and release, count 4. And one more time. Inhale, hold it, and exhale. Okay, now take a moment in your seat here and connect yourself to the ground through the soles of your feet, and notice the connection to the ground. And then with a long, slow breath through the nose, lengthen the spine, and an equally long breath out, grounded again. And as you sit here, watching breath, intentionally draw a slight smile to the lips and allow the body to bask in a sensation of happiness. And feel into that sensation as if you already have every happiness in this world. Being content, knowing you have everything you need right here, right now. And then, with a felt sensation of how this happiness feels in your body, imagine sending that same sensation to either one single particular being or to all living beings in the world. Then imagine this one particular being or everyone feeling that same full-bodied happiness and contentment that you feel right now. And from this sensation of happiness, allow yourself to feel as though you are also free from every pain and suffering and all causes of future pain and suffering. And still breathing into that slight seen or unseen smile, you are completely free from pain and suffering with your whole body. Drop into the sensation of how good this freedom feels. As you wish the same for just one other particular being or all other beings everywhere. May all beings everywhere be free from pain and suffering and all causes of future pain and suffering. And as you send out this wish, feel the energy of that wish fulfilled coming back to you. And as your happiness and your sending of happiness to others causes the happiness of others to return back to you. Seeing all other beings happy and free from pain, thanks to your wish, brings you joy. And locate this joy in your body and rest in awareness of this joy. And feeling completely full of joy, send it to others. May all beings everywhere feel this same complete and full sense of joy. May they feel the joy of a full body connection and happiness, fully absent of any pain or suffering. And allow yourself to imagine a world where every being was connected to joy. And because of this connection, not a single being would ever hurt another. And recognize that this world began with you. With your willingness to connect to the joy within you and share it with others. And so, may you always be willing to share joy. May you share it freely with all beings equally, whoever they may be. Imagining for a moment what it would be like to live in a world where everyone freely and equally shared joy. Intentionally send out that wish. And may they feel the joy of a full body connection to happiness, fully absent of any pain or suffering. And allow yourself to imagine a world where every being was connected to joy. And because of this connection, not a single being would ever hurt another. And recognize that this world began with you, with your willingness to connect to the joy within you and share it with others. And so may you always be willing to share joy. And may you share it freely to all beings equally, whoever they may be. And just imagine for a moment what it would be like to live in a world where everyone freely and equally shared joy. So now as we go into a silent meditation for about 4 minutes, intentionally send out that joy to the world. Take your time now to feel the presence in the room, feeling the chair that you're sitting on, bringing your awareness back into the room here. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, and if you need to stretch a little, go ahead and stretch. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. And thank you all for being here for this meditation this morning. Namaste. We'll resume back here at 10:30 for this Sunday celebration. And thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday, and welcome to our Sunday celebration here at Centers for Spiritual Living. My name is Linda Lloyd. I'm one of the practitioners here, and I'm going to be your host today, along with my sidekick, Kat. And to begin with, first of all, we are here celebrating your spiritual magnificence today. And to get us started is our amazing, wonderful, Big Love Band. So everybody, give them a warm welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Of course, we're going to want you to stand and join us.
I think we know this one, right?
Lift
One
your
line.
voices.
One line over and over again.
I am alive with the Spirit of God. 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 I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God. Oh yeah.
I am alive with the Spirit of God.
Let me hear
I am
you.
alive with the Spirit of God.
Raise your
I am alive with
voice
the
and
Spirit of
say,
God.
I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God.
Go, Scott.
Oh
I
yeah.
am alive with the Spirit of God.
I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God. One more
I am
time.
alive with the Spirit of God.
I can't
I
hear
am
you.
alive with the Spirit of God.
Sing
I am
out.
alive with the Spirit of God.
Yes, I
I am
am.
alive with the Spirit of God.
I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God.
Woo! You're not awake yet? Oh, okay. So if you have any questions about the announcements that will be in between on the screens today, we have a information table in the back and sign-ups, and at the end of service, there will be someone there to answer any questions that you may have. And we want to give a very special thank you to the wonderful, and I have to give a little secret here. I have a girl crush on Wonder Woman really bad, so that's really funny. For the women who came out Friday to prepare our center's grounds for the storm, and that is Patty, Phyllis, Sandy, Valerie, and Colette. And now, well, let's give them a warm round of applause. And then we have another request that everything got prepared for the storm and everything kind of needs to go back. So tomorrow, after Course in Miracles, if a few of you could stay around and help Patty do that, that would be really, really awesome. And we are not having a potluck on Sunday, December 24th, but please join us for the holiday party on December 23rd. We're going to have, it's from 4 to 7. There is no charge for this one, although your love donations are always appreciated. And we will be having live music. And we will have a big birthday cake because we're celebrating all the December and January birthdays. And it is my personal 60th birthday. So, my last one. Not having any more after that. So I thought I'd have a big, well, I mean, not like that, but anyways. Okay, enough of that. Next slide. So what do we have here? Oh, it's the convention. So the 2024 Spiritual Living Convention, Soul to Soul, Lighting the Way of Love, is coming up, and Reverend Chris has requested that if any of you are interested, to please let him know as soon as possible so we can get you a spot in there and he can help you out with getting you online with that. It is time sensitive, so if you're interested, please do let him know, and today would be a really great time. And as always, we do midweek tune-ups on Wednesday afternoon, spiritual discussion and group based on daily readings of Science and Mind magazine. It is from noon to 1, and depending on the weather, sometimes we meet outside and sometimes the little circle in the lobby. It is really great stuff, so we hope you can join us. And what do we got next, Cassie? And I'm going to invite Kat up to do this one.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Ernest Holmes is the founder of our philosophy, and we teach the universal truths found in all spiritual teachings, both traditional and contemporary. Please visit our website at cslcapecoral.org for more information, upcoming events, submit a prayer request, or send us your comments or questions. Thank you to Karen Ridley, who is holding the High Watch, and she's holding High Watch today, and we want to talk about something that in High Watch, which we mean that we're holding the consciousness for the best possible outcome of the service. That's a beautiful thing. Another song from the Big Love Band. Let's put our hands together.
There is a song in my soul that sings I am loved.
She scooted me over like a little kid. She's like, go, it's your turn. December 24th, Sunday service, is a candle lighting ceremony. It's all in one service, meditation at 10 a.m., and we'll have our service following at 10:30. It's going to be a beautiful event. And how about that song? Wasn't that beautiful? You guys are love. You are love. You're loved very much by everyone. New Year's Eve, Sunday service. We're having dissolving bowl and a white stone ceremony all in one. It's Sunday, 12/31, in 2 weeks from today. 10 a.m. meditation and all of this wonderful service at 10:30. On March 8th and 9th, Coming Home to Self Women's Retreat with Karen Drucker and Drucker. And that'll be Friday, March 8th, Saturday, March 9th, in the Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living, the Canterbury Retreat Center, Ovidio, Florida. And you, Reverend Chris, wants to say a couple words?
I was just going to add in on this that it's another time-sensitive thing. I know the actual registration is mandatory, closed out at the end of January. This isn't part of our center, but it's the center that I come from, and this is open to everybody from anywhere in the country that wants to come, but I wanted to make sure we had the opportunity because I know a lot of Karen Drucker fans are around here. So if you want to do the retreat, go to the Orlando website, gocsl.org, and I think there's maybe some pricing different things, but it's definitely by the 31st of January is the absolute cutoff. So thank you.
Reverend Chris. Carpool too. We could do a carpool. All right, well, if you guys want to stand and join with me and maybe put your hands together, get some good spirit in there, and we'll do our welcome together. Ready? Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are thankful you are here. Welcome to the center.
Do we start this one with Namaste?
Yes, the light in me sees and honors the light in you. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am light.
not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light, yeah. It's all light.
I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light.
I am light, I am light.
You are light, you are light. You are divinity defined. You are the God on the inside. You are a star, a piece of it all. You are light.
I think that deserves a standing ovation. Wow. Woo! Isn't this I know. So at this point, it is time for our young folks to take their way back to the youth program. Have fun, guys and gals. And let us now please welcome our wonderful and amazing practitioner, John Coriel, who's going to come up and give us this week's reading and prayer today. Please welcome John.
I had the pleasure earlier of being here and hearing that song in rehearsal also. So it was a real treat for me to get to hear it a second time. In preparing for today, it was quite a, how should we say, process as I was trying to find something that would be a nice reading for today. And finally came up with something, found my book by Eric Butterworth, The Spiritual Economics, and didn't find too much in there that just clicked with me. And then I found this little piece of paper that was in the book, and I went, there it is. I knew Spirit would come through with a saying of some sort. It's talked about abundance realization. I dwell in the midst of the infinite abundance. The abundance of God is my infinite source. The river of life is constantly flowing. It flows through me into lavish expression, and greater good comes to me through the expected and unexpected channels. That's something I hadn't thought about in quite some time, is the unexpected good that comes to you. I had an experience of that. I was in a store, and I was 18 cents short. And the gal says, wait a minute. I said, I think maybe there's some money in my car. I'll go out and get that. And she said, wait a minute. So she starts counting out pennies there and counted out 18 pennies for me. And I thought, there's unexpected good coming forth for me. Thank you, God. Thank you, thank you. Spirit works in a myriad of ways to bless me and provides for me in wondrous ways. And that was just one example there. My mind is fully open to receive greater good. With one infinite, the infinite as my source, and nothing surprises me. But Sometimes it does surprise me anyway. Divine demonstrations are commonplace in my life. I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Indeed. Let us take a moment to return within right off the bat, and we'll just take a moment here to hold someone, anyone, or any situation that you may have in your life that would like to find a betterment for. You would like it to be better. We could do that right here and right now as we hold in the silence, in the light, individuals or situations for just a couple of seconds here. We'll recognize spirit. We recognize God being the allness that is there for us. As we always say, God has my back. And so we say thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And for this wonderful service coming forth today that is just blessed and everything falling into a perfect divine right order in a beautiful, beautiful way. We just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And together, as we know that to be so, we can say together, and so it is. Yes, yes, yes. Yay. Just tickles me sometimes. Spirit comes up and just pours forth with good. I remember some meetings we had, and there were quite a lot of them, as we looked for a new minister. And we found a good one indeed. And I want to, yeah, there you go. Let's make welcome Reverend Chris Lahoff.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You know how to make me feel good, and I appreciate that. So, speaking of things that make us feel good, I want to start off by acknowledging and welcoming Reverend Shell and Leland Redfern back into their spiritual home. So I know those of you that have been around here for a little while know Reverend Shell very well. And some of you that are newer, you may not be aware that Reverend Shell was the last senior minister here before I came on. There was an interim minister in between. Now, during this last year that I've been here, can you believe it's almost been a year already? But during that last year, I've had several occasions to get together with Shell, get to know her a bit, and it became very clear, like, why she is so beloved here. Because she's a genuine and heartfelt person, and a deep spiritual understanding and connection to the science of mind. I do want to say thank you, Shell, for your coordination and help. We worked together on trying to determine like how and when to come back into the center. Which can be tricky sometimes when a center or any community has a leader that steps away. It's difficult sometimes to embrace a new person coming in when the other person is still involved. And so, truly, thank you very much, Shell, for working with me and coordinating on that. So while I was getting to know her, it became clear to me that this isn't her spiritual home. I don't know if this thing's cutting out. I'll have to pay attention to that. That she loves the center very much, and that while she maybe hasn't been here in person, she's been here in heart, and I know that she holds the highest thoughts for all of us. And so we're very fortunate to have that. Now, coming back in, as we discussed, it's Shell's intention to come in as a congregant. And so while she is, this was her spiritual home, this is where she discovered the science of mind, where she became a certified practitioner and went on to be a licensed and then ordained minister. Coming back in, let's respect her boundaries and embrace her as a friend. She's a fellow seeker. Leland's a fellow seeker and a celebrator of life. So as we do that, I know that there's a welcome waiting. And while Leland wasn't necessarily at the same level of visibility, I know that he was no less missed and that he will also be equally embraced. So it truly brings joy to my heart, thinking of wholeness, to say, welcome back, Shell, and Leland. Thank you. Thank you. If you're comfortable, you can stand up so everybody can see you, but if you're not, you don't have to. But thank you. Wholeness. Wholeness, wholeness. So this week, we're looking at in how our wholeness and our understanding of wholeness enriches the world. So first off, I want to speak as wholeness as it applies because it's a principle. What we do here in the Science of Mind and Centers for Spiritual Living is we explore and study principles. And one of the interesting things about spiritual principles can be told in a story of our history, of our collective history of the world, but it happened in Kitty Hawk 120 years ago today. Today is the 120th anniversary of the first powered, controlled flight by the Wright brothers. Now, up until that time, they had visions. Many people had visions of, being like the birds, humans taking to the skies. And for a large portion of the population, we thought everything had been tried, nothing's ever going to work. Why don't you give up? But the Wright brothers, they knew it. They had that spark within, that light that said, I know we are meant to be up there. And they didn't give up. But at that whole time, the principle of aeronautics existed. It always has. But nobody had learned how to use it and tap into it until the Wright brothers and others that were working on it, but they were the first ones that got that self-powered plane up in the air. And so this is one of my favorite quotes that you'll hear a lot from Ernest Holmes is that principle is not bound by precedent. And what that means is that we hold to our spiritual truths and our spiritual principles, but our past and our experience with it does not have any direction or control over our future. So a lot of times when we start to apply our spiritual principles, we might revert back to, thinking like, I've never had that. I've never experienced that. I'm not good enough. None of that matters. What matters is the principles that we tap into. That was the principle of aeronautics, but we have the principle of the law of attraction. We have the principle of light, of love, of oneness, and wholeness. Wholeness is what we're here to rediscover. The principle of wholeness has always been with us, but we've never had that experience on a collective level. Now, the beautiful thing is I think we've all had that experience at moments of our life, little glimpses of that wholeness. Now, I want you just for a second, take into your imagination. Imagine back 120 years ago. I love looking at pictures from that time frame. People wore suits everywhere they went. And if they didn't, they were wearing suspenders. A lot of the men had fabulous mustaches. I loved them. Yeah. Loved them. But go back into that time in your imagination and just picture, this is before anybody had ever taken to the sky. And imagine that it's your dream. You've been working on bikes. That was your shop, but you knew that there was something more. And for more than 4 years, you've been working on a flying device, and you believe in your heart that it's possible. Just imagine what that feels like, that yearning. And as you create your different contraptions and your different pieces and you attempt different trials, and you learn from the failures, imagine what that feeling would be on that day when you see that first flight. When Orville took it up and he was in the air for, it was about 12 seconds, 120 feet, and touchdown, what would that feel like? Can your imagination come up with a feeling and an emotion? That's because you've touched that same divine spark that they touched. That's why we're able to feel from other people, because it's the spark in them that's the spark in you. It's that same spark, and we could only feel it because we have it. So there's a couple pictures. This is one of their earlier planes. But then this next picture is the very first flight, and you can see them holding up the hat. The plane in the air, not that far off of the ground. They flew 3 more times that day. The final one was about 30 seconds, and it went almost the length of 3 football fields. And it just went from there. They never gave up, and they tapped into what they knew was true. So, what is that? Wholeness. Wholeness without as within. So when we talk about enriching the world with our wholeness, it begins with what we have within. And it's that divine spark. We all have it. And it's the same spark in every one of us. And what I love is that it's the same spark of the entire universe. It's the exact same one. And we can use the word soul. But I'm not talking about like your soul and my soul. I'm talking about soul. There's only one. It's that same spark, and it is everywhere in everything. And it's the same size in the universe as it is within you. It's the same size within each and every individual cell in your body, in each atom. It's that same spark. It is all space and no space all at once. It's that same size. That is the wholeness of which we come from. There's nothing lacking in it, and there's nothing that can be added to it. It is the divine spark within. Now, when we're tapping into it, when you get that feeling, we talk a lot in Centers for Spiritual Living about being in your heart space. I recently came across a teacher that uses the word high heart, being in high heart. And when we're in high heart, our wounded heart and our ego heart doesn't hold the same weight. When we say love wins, this is why. It's because love is the foundation of this universe, and it's interchangeable. It's the same thing as that spark. Love is just another word for it. God is another word for it. It doesn't matter what we call it. But when we remember and we go into that space, the way that you just touched it a minute ago, that's you experiencing a glimpse of the wholeness. So when we want to take that wholeness into the world, it begins by feeling it within. So Ernest Holmes, this is a quote from him. He says, "There is something within you beyond all doubt and fear, something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by your feeling. This is the only something that can make you whole." Does that resonate? Can anybody picture that? It's the one thing that sets everything apart. So when we're in that place, we talk about creating a world that works for everyone. And I think one of my challenges is that I used to see it as this like destination. I'm reading a book right now, and it talks about happiness. And the authors say that we picture happiness as a destination, and then we realize we never get there. So happiness is not necessarily a destination, but here's where it gets good. But we can make it a direction. We can point ourselves to it. And there's things that we can do that lead us to it and increase the happiness that we feel and we experience it. It's that same thing with seeing the world as wholeness. Well, first off, it's a principle, so it's already wholeness. The whole world is wholeness. We just don't get to experience it that way because what we see out in the world doesn't represent what we picture as wholeness. And that's understandable because it is a challenged world right now. Well, it always has been. You know, if we actually step back and look over at history, we're actually in one of, if not the least violent times in our world. And I know that's hard to say and understand right now. But we are truly always moving towards greater and greater peace. But it's hard to see. But that wholeness and that oneness is always there, even when we don't feel it. But we can move in that direction of experiencing it more and more as individuals. So the steps that we take, just like trying to cultivate more happiness, positive psychology has taken steps since the 90s and made huge leaps and bounds of asking, what makes somebody feel more happiness in their life? And we learned that there's steps. And this is part of the philosophy of science of mind and New Thought, is that there's all these practices that we can do. And we buy books, and we go to seminars and workshops, and we watch videos, and all these different things, and we learn, and we're feeding our mind of all these things. But then sometimes we fail to put them into practice. It's when you buy your book, and you put it on your shelf, and now it's called shelf help, because it just sits there. I stole that joke from somebody, but do you get what I'm saying? All of this stuff, it's only valid and important if we actually remember to apply it. Ernest Holmes has a quote of something along those lines that he says, he would rather see a student of this philosophy demonstrate its principle once rather than hearing that person repeat and say out loud every wise word that's ever been uttered. All of that pales in comparison to just demonstrating it once. And that's when we create the wholeness. And so as we take this out into the world, getting into that heart space, our call is to remember that that divine spark is within everybody. And it is sometimes difficult to do when we see the challenges in the world. But if we want to lean in that direction of more wholeness, of more shared experienced wholeness, more love, more peace, more other divine qualities that when we see them remind us that yes, there is something bigger. And yes, we are part of that. When we remember to recognize that there is that spark in that person that I have that challenge with, when we remember to see that that spark is within me, when I am short on patience and short on time, every time we do that, we are creating that heart space. We're back in that high heart. And high heart, when we're in that space, it doesn't have to defend itself. It doesn't have to prove it's right. It just knows. And when you know, you know. And so our call is to put into place these practices, put into place the principles that we have. So let's look at our spiritual principle for this week. It's the principle of heaven. So for anybody that can't see on the screen, it says, heaven is the state of our awareness of our true nature. Look at those capitalizations. That means our inner God, that divine spark, whatever you call it. So it's the state of awareness of that. That true nature is always there, but our awareness is what's important. So we experience our true nature to the degree that we become conscious of it, with a capital I. We actively seek to know the true nature of every individual and celebrate each individual's unique expression of it. So in that idea that we can't get to a state of happiness all the time because it's the moments of unhappiness that cause us to grow. If it wasn't for those, we would never make choices to improve our situation, to improve our world, the space around us. And so even when we get into that place where we know wholeness, there's always going to be things that pop up for one another that say, maybe we could try this and see it's even bigger, see it's even better. It's what constantly causes us to grow and expand. And so seeing wholeness in the world requires that all the people out there that I disagree with, and some that I even, I get very angry at hearing their ideas, I have to step back and remind myself, it's that causes us to seek a higher ideal. It's all part of that wholeness. It's all necessary. And so when I can step back and recognize that divine spark in that other person, I'm in my heart space. And the thing is, like, it's not a grand flash of when we create this world that works for everyone. It's a little step at a time. And every time that I am able to remember that, it contributes. When I am in my heart space, it's felt around me. When I am not in my heart space, when I am feeling the chaos, it's felt around me. When we do our practices, you can step into the most serene, peaceful environment ever, filled with the loveliest people, the nicest sounds. But if you are anxious, fearful, and angry inside, that peace means nothing. You can't feel it for what it is. And at the same time, we could step into the most chaotic, wild, loud, anxious space, but if we have that awareness of the calm that is within us, it drowns out that noise. We are the place of peace and presence, even in the most chaotic of situations. And that's how the shift in consciousness happens. That's how we create a world that works for one. It's by one. And as we tap into it, it ripples out. And so I can let go of trying to change the whole world and focus on just trying to change myself. And everything shifts. Because when I let go of what I read in the news that gets me upset and be like, you know what, that's a human being and their thoughts are theirs. And they're valid and they can have those thoughts, even that I disagree with it. And I am not going to sit back into that place of chaos and fear and let myself stew. Because that's all I would have to give. But if I can step back and just say, that divine spark, what is that image that we are creating, and tap into that, then that's what I hold within, and that's what ripples out. So our spiritual practice is the practice of affirmation. You can use this one if you like, but you can create another one that you like. You can do whatever you want. Because again, it's the practices. And so sometimes, we put practices out every week. We learn other practices. When you find one that creates shift within you, stick with it. Use it. Ignore mine. Do what works for you. But we're still going to put out more because maybe you haven't found one or two or three that you want to regularly do. But it's important to practice. So an affirmation that I would like to suggest is, I live as best I can in the high heart. Can everybody say that with me? Say, I live as best as I can in the high heart. And it's amazing that just taking a second to internally focus on that divine spark's there. It's always there, and it wells up within you. And it truly gets stronger and and each time we do, it becomes a little more clear. So just taking a moment, like an imagining, like we did with the Orville and Wilbur, imagining what that must have felt like. That gets you into that space. Anytime we find ourselves triggered, take a second and just say, what gets me into that space? And do it. And that is shifting the world. And that's how we do it. So one last thing that I would like to recommend for this week. It's a big week. We're in the holiday season, the season of lights. Hanukkah just ended. And all month long, there's so many practices around the world, other faith traditions going back thousands of years, back to shamanic times even. We've always practiced something around the solstice. Thursday night is the solstice. And that is a wonderful opportunity to recognize wholeness as it shows up in light throughout the year. The days get longer and shorter. That's what we're a part of. We are a part of those natural cycles. We can't be in a constant state of light. We would tire of it. If we were in a constant state of peace, we would tire of it, and we would not grow and learn. So this Thursday, I invite us all to just recognize that divine spark within you. As the days continue to get shorter this week, it's a time to go within, to be still. The harvest is done. The growing, the planting, all of it has served its purpose, and now it's time to rest. And then as the days get shorter, starting Friday after the solstice, they start to expand again. And that's how our lives are. We go through our times of lows. Remind yourself that the times of highs return, that it's all part of our highness, of our wholeness. And it's a continual process. And celebrate it, use it all, go into that high heart, and remember that wholeness is what we are here to experience together. And just like the Wright brothers, knowing that if we don't believe that it's possible, it'll never be achieved. But the starting point is to know and believe that absolutely the world that works for everyone, experiencing wholeness for one another, it begins with the belief of possibility, and tapping into that spark within is how we get there. So with that being said, let's take this into reflection for just a moment. Recognizing that there is only the one infinite light. It's the same spark in each and every person, that it is infinite, whole, is all experiences tied up in one. All ideas, all possibilities that we've yet to dream of. What does that world that works for everyone look like? And where does the growth come from when we learn to find collective visions to guide us instead of collective divisions? The more we recognize the contributions of everyone, knowing we can't eliminate anyone without subtracting from the whole, which is impossible anyway. So I just affirm and avow that that divine spark flows through all existence, flows through this room, flows through each heart, through each cell. It reaches out across this entire planet, and it is calling all from deep within a sense of heart and wholeness from that highest place. This holiday season, this solstice, may we use this as a reminder that we are light. We are light. We are light. So I affirm and avow that that light speaks and whispers to each and every one hearing these words. That it is also whispering in the ears of everyone across this planet. And as we remember to let go of what divides us and find what unites us, more love and light is experienced on a greater scale. So the wholeness and oneness that we are is felt by all. So I offer gratitude for each and every person who takes the time to go within, who takes intentional action to seek these teachings, to show up here, to tune in, to remember throughout the week, to pause and feel into that heart space. I just say thank you for this wonderful experience. Thank you to Spirit, knowing that this life on this planet is a gift and that it'll be over in a flash, so I want to savor every single moment of it. The wholeness, all it is. Those I agree with, those that I disagree with, it all leads us together as one back into our spiritual home of the eternity and infinite. From this temporary, short existence here. So I just invite us to feel that light, to share it and spread it and ripple it and let it emanate out. And I offer gratitude for the law which takes these words and makes it so in each and every heart in this world. Reminds us and whispers, be the light. And I affirm that it is so by saying, and so it is. So it is. Thank you. Thank you, Colette. So one thing that was interesting in that book that I'm reading, and I heard the author on a podcast, and he was talking about how if you want happiness, do something to make somebody else happy. And we don't do it for that reason. We do it just to make somebody else happy, because when we do it in a transactional thing, it might not have that same effect. But it's a leap of faith. I'm just going to do something nice for somebody, and something nice happens. Now, the conversation on the podcast came up, and what they noticed is that people that give from their heart of their finances to nonprofits, to their church, wherever, they tracked, and somebody came up with a theory that he mentioned that when people do that, the following year, their incomes go up. I know. And so he's like, that's interesting. I should talk. This guy, he's a professor at Harvard School of Business. And so he's got friends. He teaches happiness at the School of Business. But he's like, I should ask and see what's there. So he asked one of the economics professors, and he said, has anybody, ever thought about doing a study on seeing like what giving does for like your income and what happens? And the other professor's like, oh yeah, we've known that for like 30 years. It absolutely always goes up. So it's what you give from heart. It's not a transactional thing. Like when we're giving it to like get, we're kind of missing the point. But when we just have faith and just say, this is what I feel good about giving, magic happens, and we create more of this space. And I appreciate everybody's support, because I know myself how my life changed after finding a Center for Spiritual Living and getting into classes and applying these practices. I mean, it's insane the way that my life's changed. I would have never imagined being up here. And so that's why I support Centers for Spiritual Living here and our home office. So there's many ways to give. Most of them. Today, I'll say PayPal will be our focused one. PayPal at cslcapecoral.org. Any amount, what you give from your heart is always appreciated, and I know it goes out into the world. So I'll invite our ushers up, who, we go the old-fashioned way where we like to pass a basket. So whatever you have, however you give, hold that idea or your thought. Some people do automatic giving every month. Just holding an idea in that heart space, and just join me with this affirmation as we say, today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of this center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. So it is. Big love band.
Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our good. Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our good.
So I just offer thanks on behalf of the center, on behalf of each and every person here, and on behalf of myself, just knowing that all that is given is multiplied, that it is used for more good in this world, and that we continue to flourish for the next 50 years. And so it is. So it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. All right, and I'll give it back to Linda. Thank you, Linda.
Isn't this place the greatest? This place, Disneyland ain't got nothing on us, right? This is the greatest place on earth. So make our day, let us pray. At the end of service, practitioners will be up here. So don't leave without your 1 minute miracle. And it's not just about when something's heavy on your heart, If you got a Wright Brothers spark in you, it helps to pray with someone, because the Bible says where two or more are gathered, and we would love to hold that for you. And I know that I can speak for the other practitioners here. We don't just do your prayer here. We hold you in our hearts, and we hold you in our consciousness. And that makes all the difference, because what happens in consciousness comes into reality. That's how life works. That's what is taught here. And I know for myself, I can speak like Reverend Chris, man, I got into these teachings, and I was studying Buddhism at the time. I mean, I was like really into it for over 4 years, very devout, and something told me one day, it was the weirdest thing. I'm up on the freeway, and I'm like, and I'm not even calling it God anymore, because most of Buddhism doesn't call it God. And I'm like, what do I do? And I had this, you need to go to Agape. And I didn't know, I'd never heard of this place. I didn't know anybody who went, but I listened and I went. And they do a welcoming there too, but they do it just with the new people. And when I stood up and they did that welcoming, I cried, and I was so, I don't know, it was like a baby who latches on to his mother's breast milk. It was like I couldn't get enough. I did class after class after class, and when all that was over, and then I wanted more, so I became a practitioner, not because I wanted to become a practitioner, but because I wanted more classes. And it has just changed my life in phenomenal, phenomenal ways. So these teachings work. I just want to put that out there. And I also forgot to mention when I was doing the slide for the party that we do need some help for setup on the day before. And I think we're going to do it like Friday morning at 11 o'clock, because I believe somebody else is having a party in the afternoon that they may be going to. There's a sign-up sheet in the back.
It says afternoon.
What's that?
The sheet says 4 o'clock.
Okay.
The sheet said 6 because I did the sheet on whatever.
Right. Well, we can talk, whoever is, like if you guys want to meet with me, whoever wants to help, we can decide on a time. I'm off all day on Friday. I was just trying to respect the other thing that's going on.
I already signed up for it, so I'll get with you.
Okay, great. And that is it for today. Thank everyone for coming, and thank you, Big Band, for, oh my God, that song was beautiful. Are you going to do that again next week? Maybe? All right. Well, thank you for coming, everyone. Love you.
Come on and sing with us. I am alive with the Spirit of God. 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 I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God. Oh yeah.
I am alive with the Spirit of God.
Let me hear
I am
you
alive with the Spirit of God.
sing
I am
out.
alive with the Spirit of God.
Raise your
I am alive with the
voices.
Spirit of God.
I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God. One more
I am
time,
alive with the Spirit of God.
clap your
I am
hands.
alive with the Spirit of God.
Spirit,
The Spirit of God.
the Spirit
I am
of
alive
God.
with the Spirit of God.
I am alive, alive with the Spirit of God.
See you on Christmas Eve.
Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you Sunday.